Do you ever wonder what the most biggest and massive fish might look like? Have you ever seen the most unusual marine life catches? It is believed that about half of the marine life is still undiscovered. So imagine the amount of creatures that might live in oceans and seas, and we are simply unaware of their existence. Before we get into the video, make sure you keep watching it until the very end, because we have some amazing facts that will leave you jaw-dropped. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. The biggest salmon fish. One of the most favorite and top-rated seafood is none other than salmon fish. People from various countries enjoy salmon in their seafood cuisines. Salmon sushi has everyone's heart. If you're a fisherman who sails to catch salmon for the fish market, you usually come across medium-sized normal salmons of about 3 to 10 pounds. But how many times have you been lucky enough to catch a fish as huge as the right one here? This king salmon fish weighs up to 126 pounds. Isn't it amazing how big this fish is? This massive beast was caught near Petersburg, Alaska in 1949. This catch started gaining popularity among the people in the fish industry, and soon enough, everyone was talking about the great king fish that was caught. Imagine the amount of people it might be able to feed. Massive blue marlin. The Atlantic blue marlin, with its long and pointed beak, has a charm of its own. This fish is usually found very easily, but the massive and huge ones are still a very hard catch. Caught back in the times in 1984, this 1,649 pounds beast was a once-in-a-lifetime hotshot. This fish was caught in Hawaii, and it ended up setting the bars high for the biggest and most massive fishes. It ended up setting a world record back in its time, and Merriman, the guy who caught marlin, couldn't be more proud of his luck and achievement. This fish became the celebrity of marine life in black and white as the news was printed in many newspapers and magazines. Greatest tiger shark. Living in the seas of Australia, which is land surrounded by water, this huge tiger fish was set to break the records. Found in 2004 by Kevin Clapson, this fish broke all of its previous record. And I mean, it did deserve all the attention and hype because it weighed 1,785 pounds. I kind of find it hard to believe that a creature this huge actually exists in the water. Moreover, how did they even handle a beast that huge while hunting it? Sounds kind of impossible, but it is what it is. It was the new pride of Clapson. This massive tiger fish also proved that marine life is and will always be a mystery. How many more massive creatures does it have? Mr. Giant Fluke, also known as the flounder fish, is usually found near seabeds. These fishes are usually widely found in the seas of North Carolina to Massachusetts. This biggest catch of the species was found in 2007. It weighed around 24 pounds, which is way bigger than the usual weight of fishes of this species. Monica Oswald caught this fish and took it home and froze it. She wanted the fish to be recorded as the biggest one caught yet, because it was indeed the biggest one. Unfortunately, the fish couldn't make it in the official records because Monica sadly messed up with some fishing rules while getting the catch. The largest squid. Squids have many subspecies, and they vary in sizes and weights, but the largest known squid species is none other than the colossal squids. Most of the squids in the species are larger from other regular squids found in the aquatic world, but here's the biggest and most massive squid recorded in the history. It was found in 2007 by a New Zealand fishing vessel. It had a massive height of about 18 meters, 60 feet. Imagine coming even remotely close to a living creature that big. Scary, right? It's not only just this one squid that was recorded to be this huge. Usually most of the colossal squids are this giant, and they are very rarely found. Largest lobster. Also known as the Big Dipper lobster, is one of the largest lobsters to ever existed. Many people love lobsters as a meal, and for the die-hard foodies and lobster lovers, this huge one is simply a dream come true. It was captured in the year 2015 in Maine by Ricky Louis Felix Jr. This guy was working on a lobster boat, and when he ended up catching this one, the crew members were shocked, and they said that they had never before caught a lobster this huge. I mean, catching it and all is fine, but how did they even manage to handle a lobster that big? Because let me tell you that this lobster weighed around 20 pounds. I know that's a huge catch. Large Japanese crabs. Imagine being on a beach and suddenly you see a 3.7 meter long creature walking towards you. It's going to give you nightmares for the rest of your life. Japanese sea crabs are said to have the longest legs an arthropod could have. These crabs are mostly found in the southern coast of Japan. The most giant Japanese spider crab is the crabzilla. It is said that this crab can live for as long as 100 years and can grow up to 15 feet. They have this crab in the National Sea Life Centre in Birmingham, London, and people visit from all over London and the world to see how massive this creature is. It is truly astonishing, just the sight of this crab. I mean, who would have thought that those little creatures that you devour in seafood buffets can grow so old and big? Giant Pacific octopus. Octopus is famous for its shy nature, and that's exactly why it's usually found down below in the reefs and seabed. These creatures are said to be one of the most dangerous ones, especially if you ever come across a big one. They will tangle you and not let go of you until you're out of breath and lose your stamina to fight back. The giant Pacific octopus was the largest octopus ever caught, and it weighed 600 pounds. They needed special cranes and machinery to handle because humans obviously couldn't. This octopus was found around the western coast of Northern America. Americans have this octopus in the giant Pacific octopus habitat at the aquarium for people to visit and see the massive creature. Usually, it is hard to get a sight of it because of its shy nature. The creature is usually hidden, but if you're patient enough, make sure you take a good look around and get your eyes on the octopus that will leave you astonished. Pacific bluefin tuna. Not only is tuna a good meal for humans, but cats love this fish just as much. There are millions of tuna catches every year to meet the demand, but have you ever seen a huge tuna fish? Here's what the biggest tuna looks like. This fish was caught back in 2014 by a woman named Angler Donna in New Zealand. Usually catching tuna fishes through nets and ropes is easy because they are the size and weight of a regular fish. However, when Angler had to battle this Pacific bluefin tuna to make sure she didn't lose the fish, it took her nearly 4 hours to get hold of the fish. Later, she was awarded by IGFA, and her catch was recorded in the world's record for the largest fish. And now last but not least, our final pick of the day, Shortfin Mako shark. Another nickname for this shark is also known as the blue pointer shark. It's usually found in almost every deep ocean and sea. But what's rare is the huge and large catch of this fish that was caught by Luke Sweeney back in 2001. This shark was a massive catch, but what's more interesting is that this fish was caught in an international tournament with Sweeney riding on its tiniest boat compared to his opponents. Imagine catching one of the record-break largest shark in a tournament on a small boat. How difficult and dangerous might that have been? It almost took Luke about 3 hours to trap the fish and take control over it. He then had to battle with it till its last breath. But Sweeney did not give up and ended up catching the biggest shortfin Mako shark of the time. His catch got famous and gained popularity. This brings us to the end of this video, but wait, don't go yet. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let us know in the comment section below about your favorite catch of all time. Can't wait to go through those comments and see what you guys have to say.